Last time on Homestead How, we met Aaron and Victoria for their very first YouTube video. They are friends of ours. We met at church a couple years ago. They're farmers and they're very good teachers. I really enjoyed the video we did before. I'll leave a link in the description below. That was part one. We brought the cows home and we learned a whole bunch, and there's so much more to learn today. So stay tuned till the very end. I also have a very important message. We have links in the description for Aaron and Victoria's farm store if you want to purchase some of their grass-fed beef or pork. All of that will be in the description below, but be sure to watch this till the very end because we've got a critical message for you at the end that's so important.
Diabetes, cancer, heart disease, it's running rampant. It's all the way we, number one, eat. So this is a heifer, started custom raising cattle. For entertainment, I just read the bags, all the ingredients on them of stuff I've never even heard of, and we're putting this on our food. And they all weigh about 100 to 120 pounds.
What's the difference if we buy the beef from you versus going to the grocery store?
Well, first of all, I can tell you exactly what the cows eat.
You like watching him on camera. Yeah? He's like, that's how I talk? Yes, that's how you talk.
Yeah, I'm not even Italian. I talk too much with my hands. Dad's getting ready to feed a bale, so let me help him. So this is net wrap. Each bale is, round bale is tied with this instead of string like on a small square. It's quicker, faster with the round baler, and when you're feeding this many animals, it makes it a whole lot easier. Okay, we're gonna have fun with that. They like to have fun too. Right. We say stored feed left over is money in the bank because it's feed we don't have to try and make the next year. And that's that. We like calf hutches because we can be outdoors in the fresh air. They have a small little building of their own to go into, but we don't like to raise in a building if at all possible, because as a building you have much more cause for disease, and it's easier. Ventilation is not as good as God's ventilation. So we started raising calves and hutches when we started custom raising cattle, because we had more calves than we had room for, and we've actually enjoyed it so much that we're just going to keep doing it this way, and we're going to start feeding pigs.
All right.
So dairy has always been the primary enterprise of this operation, but hogs have always been our second. We have always raised hogs. My father raised hogs. We are of German descent and proud of it, and we like eating pork, and lots of it. Thank you. Thank you. Well, it's enough. Okay, so as we said earlier, any raw milk that we don't use both for calves and for human consumption, goes to hogs. It's an older concept. Years ago, my grandpa used to work at a creamery part-time. Back then, in the early days of the dairy industry in the state of Wisconsin, cream was the main objective of milking cows, to make butter, and all that byproduct of separating milk was always whey. Whey was a very sought after byproduct for hog production because it's high in protein, and hogs grew like crazy on it. We do the same, except we don't use whey, we use whatever whole milk we have, and pigs grow like crazy on it, and it gives our pork an amazing flavor because you get all the raw milk qualities and you put it into an animal, and that meat has that flavor as well. And it gives it a very unique flavor, marbling qualities, and a fat composition that I like to eat, my family likes to eat, and most of our customers do as well. So, we'll feed pigs milk and we'll show you how they go nuts. They are 4 months old, and they all weigh about 100 to 120 pounds. And you can see how eager they are for me to be here. These pigs are about a third of the way grown. Normally our pigs are between 250 and on the light side they're 250, but typically our finished hogs when we slaughter are about 270 to 280 at finish. Come on, guys. You gotta let me get your dish. Come on. I know you want the milk. Over here. There's room for everybody. It's candy. They also get all the water they want, but milk is what they really want. They like the taste of it so much. So they also eat grain. Right now, because of our land base, we are not in a position to be able to grow enough organic grain to raise our hogs on an organic grain. Hogs need to consume more grain than a cow because they are a monogastric animal, meaning they have one stomach. A cow is a multigastric animal. She has four.
Ruminant.
A ruminant. So that's why hogs need to consume more grain, because they have a simple stomach. They need to be able to consume enough energy. We do not pasture our pigs. There are producers who do, but we bring pasture to our pigs, meaning we harvest our own forages for the cows. We take dairy quality forage, meaning forage cut in a vegetative state at the height of protein and fiber and quality, and we it gets ground with grain, and you get this feed that is very high in fiber, but nutritionally dense because it has grass, it has alfalfa, it has clover in it, along with all the other things that we're putting here, soybean meal, minerals, vitamins, and ground corn. So these are our a group of our sows. There's also a butcher pig in there. These are our mother pigs. Our sows, typically, we keep our sows a lot longer than most hog producers because we hand feed. Because I want to be able to regulate how much feed they're getting so that they don't get so fat. And I want them to stay lean, yet maintain body condition. A typical sow for us goes about 500 to 600 pounds, and we will keep them as long as we possibly can, as long as they continue to get bred, have litters of pigs, and are healthy and mobile. We're going to be going into the farrowing barn next. What I mean by mobile is get up and down without problems, and be able to get up safely and lay down safely and not crush pigs. Sows, as they get bigger and larger, this is our biggest, oldest sow. This is Spotty. We name our sows as well. She is by far our largest sow. She goes 750, almost 800 easy. We keep her because she normally has a dozen to 15 pigs every time she has pigs. But the problem is that she gets lazy and lays down faster than she should, and the pigs don't have time to always get away. So we're gonna go into our farrowing barn. It's not fancy. We took a building and retrofitted this. It used to be a corn crib, and we used the foundation and made it into pens. And this is where our sows have their baby pigs. We prefer to pen farrow compared to farrowing crates, which most of the mainline swine industry uses, especially in confinement operations. We do not want to use farrowing crates because I like the comfort aspect of being able to lay however they want, and I want them to be able to exhibit their mothering ability in a natural aspect. We have tried outside farrowing. It works to a point, but for our operation, it just isn't ideal. I prefer to keep them in here in a pen where I can manage them, hand feed, be able to maintain better health, and be able to monitor their feed intake, the health of the young pigs, and be able to monitor them on a whole basis much easier. So each sow, typically at farrowing, that's the act of having baby pigs. That's what it's called, farrowing. They have, hi, I know. Can I get your pen? Thank you. Hi. Our sows have at farrowing typically 10 to 12 pigs at a time when they farrow, and we tend to farrow at least 2 times a year, if not once more, depending how it falls in days. Sow will have pigs. The gestation of a sow is 3 months, 3 weeks, 3 days, and we as pig farmers say 3 a.m. because it always figured they always have to have them in the middle of the night. And those nights I don't get much sleep either because I get up and I help with the farrowing process. Oh yeah, so Just like hogs, heifers is what we call an pre-lactation cow. So this is a heifer. When a heifer will have her first calf on her second birthday, when she's 2 years old, then we will call her a cow. As much as I hate to admit it, Saturday and Sunday after church are typically my catch-up days. Any work that has to be done that I need to be here to do, I do on weekends. It's not ideal, but it works for the time being. We intersperse field work with any time of year, depending when it needs to be done. Today, we're gonna be baling some hay, but it all depends on weather and everything. We do field work whenever it needs to be done. That's my dad. Without my dad, I couldn't get it all done. With 400 acres that we're operating, he keeps tractors moving even when I'm at work, and he and Victoria do all the regular chores that we're doing today, but he also keeps everything else moving because we have to provide feed for our animals, and it has to be done sometime. And what I do most of the time is I save all my vacation at work for times when I know I need to be here. Springtime especially, when in planting season, I will take 2 weeks off at one crack so that I can be here all the time, and then it's hard to go back. But that's of what I want to be doing. So these calves are just weaned. That's why they have hay. We don't feed hay to baby calves typically because we don't want the way a calf's rumen, the part of their stomach that they consume all their feed, and their feed goes into their rumen, and then when they are resting, they will regurgitate that food and chew their cud. You don't want the rumen to develop too quickly, because with feeding hay at too young an age, because then they will get what we in the bovine world call a hay belly, meaning you don't want them to start consuming more forage than they should at an early age, because their rumen will not develop properly. That's why we wait till they're at least 4 months of age, and that's why we don't feed hay to them any younger. A lot of my friends that farm that are my age, they never ever want to talk about what their grandpas and their dads did. They all want to go to UW and learn the new modern way to do it. And there's sometimes the old ways they did it that way for a reason.
Right.
And sometimes it's good to look at that and still do it that way.
Have you guys looked into shipping?
We are right now, because yes, last night we had a lady from Georgia ask.
Yeah.
And we've had someone from Ohio ask. We are in the process of looking into it very intently, because we also figure this video is going to, if it goes viral, we're gonna have people calling all over.
That's probably gonna be the biggest question.
We're going to go do chickens. So I already found some eggs from actually yesterday that the chickens hid on me. So. All right, ladies. Come on, so I can get the eggs. Come on. Come on. So on our farm, we raise heavier weight type chickens. We do primarily buff Orpingtons, Wyandottes, and then some Barred Rocks as well. No, they're a much hardier type of breed that seems to do really well, and they're really docile and stuff, and they're not super flighty. And you get a lot of pretty colors.
We just finished butchering our meat chickens 2 weeks ago, and
Now
we
it's
have
more
a
like
whole nother
3.
batch starting here in a week or two. It only takes 60 days to finish a Cornish Rock. Those are the breed that we raise from start to finish. So we choose these heavier breed laying hens because we want the brown eggs. Lighter weight chickens like a Leghorn are those chickens that produce white eggs, and it's not necessarily that the white egg is less healthy or wholesome, but we choose to have brown eggs for the heavier hens because of their docility, their ruggedness to be able to handle not as ideal conditions, and because we like their temperament. They're much more calm, chill, the whole 9 yards.
They don't fly everywhere.
They don't fly up
in
in every little thing. So
People buy more brown eggs.
and that's why
It's associated with farm fresh.
yes.
People associate brown eggs
My-
with farm fresh eggs. White eggs they normally think of as store-bought eggs.
My father was very much. My father has always loved chickens, and he had a very thriving egg business when I was a little boy. He used to sell. We used to have, when I was a little boy, 500 laying hens because he sold eggs to every restaurant in Montello. And at that time, everybody wanted white eggs. So we had 500 Leghorns at that time. But the industry changed and the consumer started demanding brown eggs. And that's why we now have gone to all heavy breeds. And it was an easy decision for us because
They're prettier.
they're pretty, they're calmer. I don't miss the days of going in the chicken pen and all the chickens go flying to the other side of the pen like when we had Leghorns. Right. So we have customers who have told us that our eggs have the orangest yolks they have ever seen because of the way we take care of our chickens and the feed that they consume. Again, just like our hogs, we bring grass and forage to our chickens in their feed when they are not free ranging because we want grass in their diet because it's healthy for them, it's healthy for us.
Are the chickens always in here, or do you let them out?
We let them out sometimes.
Yeah.
It's just for a management standpoint,
it's easier to
it's
have.
easier. Otherwise, you're going on an Easter egg hunt every day.
And
They will lay eggs everywhere.
You are telling the rookie here, because that's the problem we bought eggs from you guys, and we've had to buy them sometimes. And it's like, why? How many chickens do we have? 14 chickens. They're everywhere. 'Cause
Yep.
we free range them, so it's like they're under the lawn.
Free ranging is a wonderful way to raise chickens, but you need to have some kind of a containment system. Otherwise, you're never going to find all the eggs.
Yep.
They're very simple.
Simple. They're entertaining. They eat a lot of the insects and stuff out of
Yes.
the yard. And they're
Yes.
just,
And there's a lot of guys, look on YouTube. There's videos everywhere about permaculture, where you're following cattle in pasture with chickens. Yes, it's a great thing to do if you have the logistics and a system in place. We personally don't have that. So that's why we manage ours the way we do.
Yep, this is normally for our broiler chickens or pullets, the younger ones that aren't laying yet. So right now we have all our pullets in here, and when our broilers come, we'll move them out and put the broilers in here. But
We typically don't like to pen up our chickens like this, but we live within not even a quarter of a mile from a creek and a pond. Excellent habitat for wildlife
and raccoons.
of raccoons. We have a big problem with raccoon predators. We started with how many pullets?
100.
And we're probably down to 50 just because of raccoon. when we're milking cows, to both keep the cows healthy and ourselves as we consume the milk. My dad already did it already, but we washed milkers, and now we're going to take the cows back. Okay, so one thing I want to point out as we're coming here up to the cows,
Okay.
See how all the cows are laid down?
Yeah.
Cows, again, as we talked earlier, are creatures of habit. Cows want to be lazy. They want to eat, and they want to lay down, and they're going to want to rest, because that's when you're making milk and when you're making meat, when they are at rest. Most of them are chewing their cud. We'll get up closer and I'll show you. See how that cow is chewing her cud? That's what a cow wants to do. She wants to eat, and then she's going to rest, and she's going to again regurgitate that feed that she has consumed, and she's going to re-chew it. Then it will pass to our other 3 stomachs, where it will be fully digested, and it will go into her intestines, and of course absorption will take place, and it will go to her own bodily maintenance, and eventually go into her bloodstream to make milk, and or on a beef animal, muscle and rate of gain. So we'll get the cows up. They grazed all night, so now their guts are full, so now they're kind of lazy, and we got to get them up and send them back out. Come on, girls. We're gonna go back out. Come on. You gotta get up. Come on. Get up.
Come on. I know. You don't.
You gotta get up.
There we go.
I know. It's nice and cool, and cows, when they're calm and collected, are pretty easygoing. So typically, one of us brings the cows. If I'm not here, it's normally him or Victoria. And then the other takes the truck up there, goes, sets the gates, gets ready, and then the person that brings the cows, then you don't have to walk all the way back. Hey girls, come on, get up.
Come on. Come on.
Come on girls, let's go.
Come on.
Come on, let's go. Come on. Come on. Let's go, girls.
Come on, we're heading back.
Come on. Let's go. Come on, get up. Like dairy cattle. Dairy cattle, we're handling them multiple times a day. They're used to being up close with human interaction. Our beef are very somewhat calm because they're used to being handled like this every day. But typically beef cattle in a beef operation see very little human interaction, which is why they are a little more skittish. Go on, girls. We start grazing in the spring, we do it as a system, meaning we start grazing as soon as the grass is about 8 inches tall, and we just keep them moving. And as the rain comes and as the natural cycle of the weather, we just keep going from pasture to pasture, and by the time we get through them all, we come back to the initial one we started. And in theory, we want it to always take place by the time that grass is grown back and it's at ideal nutritional state and digestibility for them, because cows don't want to eat old, yucky, woody grass. They want to eat young vegetative grass that tastes good. And they will consume more when it's that way. I'm getting to that age in my life now. I'm not quite 40 years old. It's not about me anymore now. It's about carrying on the legacy that my family has done in this county for 6 generations. The 7th generation is here already. I don't know if my daughters want to farm. I'm praying they do, and that they find value and a sense of belonging on this farm. There is no place better to raise children than on a farm. You learn responsibility at a young age, and you learn integrity and honesty, and the best part is it's fun because you get to work with mom and dad, you get to work with animals every day, and it's not work. It can be like work some days, but most of the time it's not work to me. It's a lifestyle and a legacy to me. But this is the time now. Typically Vicky would be in the house already cooking breakfast while I took the cows back, so that when I would be back, breakfast would be ready, and then we eat as a family and have devotions, and then I go about the rest of my day. And a beef takes 16 to 18 months from birth. So I can't turn as many animals as fast. You know, every steer or cow only has so many steaks compared to hamburger, where there's 150 to 200 pounds depending on the size of the animal.
Right.
Shoemaker doesn't have shoes for his kids. We hardly ever eat steaks because everybody buys
Ground beef every night?
No.
Well, we eat a lot of pork. We've entertained the idea of putting a higher price on our steaks than we already have to try and slow sales down a little bit, but we also want to make it so that anybody can afford a nice cut of meat too.
If you want to clean out the old ones, you bring me the old ones and then put the new ones in there.
What is going to happen in this world when we don't have any more Aaron and Vicky's wanting to have a small local farm because people like us aren't supporting them? What's going to happen? I really fear that that's going to be an issue because Aaron and Vicky are working so hard, and is this next generation going to pick up and do that? I hope so. I certainly hope we can change the world and that happens, because if there are no more Aaron and Vicky's and local farms like this, the only alternative is big box, huge grocery stores that get their meat in mass. It's factory farmed in some huge warehouse where they have thousands of heads of cattle. And what's getting injected into that meat? How are they treating their animals? Are they caring for and being good stewards of their land and their animals like Aaron and Vicky are? I don't think so. It's so important that we not only support local farmers like the Wachholz family farm, local farmers all across the country, but we elevate the importance of this. This is hugely important. Look around at the population. Everybody is sick. Diabetes is going through the roof. Heart disease is the #1 killer. People have arthritis and depression and anxiety and brain fog and sleep issues. It's all the food they're eating. We need to get back to the basics. Whether you want to believe it or not, you can do the research on your own. Since the start of time, people ate meat. Almost only meat. They didn't eat all this processed garbage and all these food dyes and all of this sugar and all of this inflammatory food. And we need to get closer and closer to that. And one of the best ways you can do is supporting your local farmer. If you got to drive 2 or 3 hours, I would drive 3 hours, no problem. I'd bring a big cooler and a bag of ice and I would stock up. Look around, do some research, come out, check out Wachholz Family Farm. I wouldn't be putting them on my YouTube channel and shouting them out like this to potentially hundreds of thousands or millions of people if I didn't stand by what they're doing.